Take me back to the absolute beginning.
I don't know how our conversations evolved from just drinking around the table.
Where does the name Stray Dog come from?
Kind of felt like, sometimes you feel like you're an actual dog where you're chained up.
So what sets Stray Dog Brewing Co. apart?
Wow, that's a really great question.
So thank you very much, gentlemen, for meeting with me today. If you would just like to introduce yourselves, and we'll get started.
Okay. My name is Marc Plant.
My name is Justin McNeil.
Excellent. So just kind of take me back to the absolute beginning. What really, spurred this?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think it's all started like a lot of Ontario microbrewery stories. They all start in somebody's basement or garage. I was a home brewer, and that's actually how I met Justin. And it was a hobby, obviously. I did it for about 7 years, and I absolutely loved it. And I got pretty good at it. I already had a full-time job. So like I said, this was a hobby of mine. But when I met Justin, I don't know how our conversations evolved from just drinking around the table and enjoying really good beer, but those conversations slowly evolved into, well, what if we were Orléans' very first microbrewery?
Yeah, basically just what Mark was saying. We were both homebrewers. We met through the homebrewing community. It's one of those things. The beers we were making started getting better and better. We were entering competitions and taking home some medals. And that helped kind of inflate our egos a little bit. And anyway, we liked our jobs, our day jobs, but what we were really passionate about was beer. And then, the dream just starts kind of growing and growing. And then you end up taking out some huge loans that keep you up at night. And one day you end up here. Yeah.
That's really awesome. And so where does the name Stray Dog come from?
So it's basically supposed to be just kind of symbolic. It was one of those things where our idea was basically, to a certain degree, we kind of felt like, sometimes you feel like you're an actual dog where you're chained up, and, there's things that you want to do with your life, but, you're a little bit afraid to break free from those chains that are holding you back that also provide you with a little bit of comfort. So with us, the idea was, we decided to take that leap, break free, become basically stray dogs to chase the things that we were passionate about. And in this case, it ended up being craft beer, supporting local community, artists, musicians, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think the name has evolved over time as well, just completely organically, where, this place has become a home for strays. People looking for a place to belong, and they stumble in here, and it's like the Hotel California. They just never leave, but it's in a good way. Whether it's some of our employees, our current employees, where they just sort of popped in, we made a connection, and they've been here. Like I'm thinking about Bert, he's been here almost since day one. And then some of our regulars, they're regulars because they feel home, they feel safe here, and so they've embraced the culture, I guess, which is something that again sort of happened over time, and it's through our employees and our regulars that really just kind of make this place happen.
Awesome. I know that the craft brewing community is very competitive, but there's also a lot of camaraderie within that community. So what sets Stray Dog Brewing Co. apart from other craft brewing companies or breweries?
Wow, that's a really great question, because I think every microbrewery sort of asks themselves the same thing, because everybody's out there making beer, and some are making really great beer. But the industry has changed, and I think it's more than just about making great beer now. It kind of harkens back to what I was saying earlier, where you want to build a place in the community that people feel comfortable in at home. For us, I really think it's a couple of things. One is we like the fact that it's only like a 5-minute drive from home, so we love the commute. Being Orléans' very first microbrewery, really kind of established us in the community that we grew up in and that we love and our kids go to school in and we work in. But at the same time, I think like the music, the comedy shows, all the other things all the events that we do makes this place like a community hub, gives people an excuse not to go downtown. And there's nothing wrong with going downtown to be entertained. But if you can offer the same things, if not better, in your own backyard, why wouldn't you do that? And so that's kind of how we've sort of pivoted and really kind of stands us apart a little bit.
I got nothing to add there.
Okay.
So say someone new walks into Stray Dog, and I know that taste in terms of beer is very subjective. Some people like IPAs, some people like blondes. But if someone were to come in here and, what would you recommend would be, the very first beer that you would offer them that really makes the Stray Dog brand?
Yeah, again, I think one of the first things that we always do is somebody says, I've never been here before. They look at the menu, they have no idea where to start. We start asking the guiding questions. What do you normally drink? What do you normally like? What don't you like? And then from there, then we can kind of narrow it down to something that we think will fit their palate. And the nice thing is, I truly believe we have something for everybody. That's what we kind of offer.
Yeah. And I mean, anybody can sample anything that we have on tap before they actually commit to like a pint. We also do flights as well. So as Mark said, we'll start with some questions, finding out what people are normally into. And we can basically pick some beers that we think are good for them, that they might automatically enjoy, but then also be like, and while you're at it, why don't you try maybe this one and this one, because you'd be surprised. A lot of people think that they're not into a certain thing. It's just maybe they haven't had the Stray Dog version.
For sure.
Yeah.
Looking back on your journey, and I see that, and I'm going to get some pictures, but I see that you have the Stray Dog Brewing Company Pounders Club. Are there certain milestones on your journey or events or anything that really stands out?
Oh man, there's been lots of, high moments. I mean, our first year anniversary was amazing. It's one of those things, when we opened the doors for the first time, it was crazy. I think it was one of those things that we couldn't believe that we were actually doing this. The feeling also, for our first anniversary, we had a great crowd outside, bands playing, beer being served, people having a great time. As far as like beer achievements, I think when we won a gold medal for our Jagged Little Pilsner,
Yeah, that's dope.
that was, it was crazy because, we started off as home brewers and now we're actually playing in the big leagues, and sometimes you question, what you're doing a little bit and just getting that gratification. What were some highlights for you, Mark?
Yeah. I still remember when Craft Beer Market was opening up. And I don't think we had opened yet, but we were in the planning stages. And we went to the opening, and the owner of Craft Beer Market came down from Calgary, and the place was just absolutely packed. And they have like 150 taps. And Justin and I kind of looked at each other and we said, like, man, this would be really cool if we can get our beer on tap here. And when we finally did, it just validated that we were doing everything right, that we did belong. And not only belong, but we ended up with like 3 taps, which was really cool. Also the brewery market down in Hintonburg, that's one of it's not around anymore, which is too bad. We were just talking about this not too long ago, but that was such a great market to be at. And we used to attend just for fun. But in the back of our minds, we thought, man, wouldn't it be really cool to have a booth here and sell our beer to people? And when we did, again, it's kind of like, hey, we're here now, and we made it.
You kind of touched upon this at the beginning in terms of, your philosophy. But when someone comes into Stray Dog Brewing Co., what do you want them to feel?
We want them to feel at home. Like this is that they belong here. Like, this is a place where they feel welcome. And we don't want them to leave. We want this to be their local.
Yeah, we want it to be their favorite place. just automatically becoming a member of the pack, basically.
And I think something that stands out from other places that you allow dogs.
Oh yeah, big time. We're all dog owners. Luckily, with the license we have, we're allowed to have dogs here. A lot of places aren't. Sometimes they're limited just to patios, but since we don't do any food preparation here, we're allowed to have dogs in here. We have rescue events. I'd say one of the cool things too is we actually have a partnership with the cafe next door. So if people do want food, they can just place an order. We have like a little kiosk where people can place an order, the food's at your table 15 minutes later, and we didn't do any of the prep here in the brewery, so it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I think early on too, it wasn't like the dog thing wasn't something we really embraced. You know, I don't think we set out to be like that dog-friendly brewery, and it just, again, sort of just happened. And then I think during or after the sort of the pandemic, I mean, everybody ended up with a pandemic dog, right? And we just started becoming that place where people can start bringing their dogs. People would get like a rescue dog or a brand new dog, and they needed a place to socialize it. What better socializing venue than a brewery? You know, this is where humans socialize, and it's where dogs socialize, and it's been amazing. And to be honest, if anybody ever walks in here, how can you ever feel bad when you've got a dog just kind of wanting your attention? You know.
So, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Well, I mean, I think the main thing is we're going on 9 years now. Our anniversary party will be happening in September. All are welcome. We still have some details to work out, but it's looking like it might start at 3 p.m.
September 12th.
September 12th. Anybody who hasn't been here yet, what are you waiting for?
I'm starting a ritual, and we can do this off camera, but I want you to have a card, and I want you to just write a question that you would have for the next Taproom that I would ask in that interview or in that session. So thank you very much.
All right. Our pleasure. Thanks.
Yeah.